What's up, guys? It is John from Side Hustle Experiment. If you're new to the channel, welcome. In today's video, we're gonna cover how to crush a thrift store when looking for books. I'm in the process of sending most of my merchant fulfilled inventory to FBA. When the restock limits happened, I did a lot of merchant fulfilled. Now I have a ton of space in Amazon, so I'm gonna send those books over there. So I thought this could be a really good way to kind of show you guys. I've never really made book content, like going to a thrift store and stuff like that, the basics. I do think selling books on Amazon is one of the best ways to get started. So I'm going to kind of show you exactly how I used to do it, how I used to prepare, everything I need, stuff like that. It'll be pretty in-depth video, kind of everything I know I'm going to share with you guys to get started. We're going to do scanning, how I would set that up, and tools I'm using, all that kind of stuff we're going to go over. So stay tuned, like the video, subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Let's get started. All right, before we get started scanning, before we go into the thrift store, before we even leave the house to go, we want to make sure we've done a couple things. If you're using ScoutIQ, which I highly recommend, you want to download a fresh database. If you don't know what that means or what that is, they have a great video on it. It's really simple. You basically just go in there. I would show you, but I am using my phone right now. But you just download your database. This way you have the freshest Amazon information. The reason you want a database mode app is because if you have no Wi-Fi in the thrift store or at a library sale or wherever you're at, you're not even going to be able to scan the books because it's going to take too long to look up. So when you scan it, if you're not using the database mode, it basically goes to Amazon and it's like trying to pull data to come through. And just lost my spot. Trying to pull data to come through, and then it will show you the price it's currently selling for and see if it matches your trigger set on ScoutIQ. So that's number one, have a fresh database. Number two, you're gonna want a scanner. Make sure you have your scanner with you. Make sure it's charged. I like the Opticon. It's more expensive one, but that's my favorite one. Other people have the eYoYo. There are links for that below. But yeah, that is kind of, you want to make sure that is charged. All right. You want to make sure to have something to charge your phone. I like these portable battery packs. I don't have one up here, but they're really good. It's like just basically like a big thick stick. Take your charger with you. You're going to need it for when you're scanning a lot, depending on your cell phone. Some it will drain the battery quick, others it won't. All right, so we got that. And then most importantly, you're going to need cash or credit cards, preferably both. Some thrift stores do not accept credit cards. A lot of them do not accept American Express. It's only Visa and MasterCard, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need. Oh, and I also like to bring with me IKEA bags. These are probably the best bags to use when going to a thrift store. Some have bags, some don't. Some will give you boxes if you buy enough. It just really depends, but they usually give you plastic bags, and books are heavy, so those plastic bags tend to break, and you don't want to be damaging the books or getting them messed up or anything like that. So those are kind of the 5 things you want to do before. You want to make sure you have the database downloaded. You want to be ready to go. Cell phone charged, ready to go. Have a battery pack with you. Have cash, credit, cards. Yeah, and that's kind of it. Your scanner, make sure that's charged. And we're kind of going to go over here now. And I'm going to walk you through how I would scan a thrift store. When I used to go to thrift stores, now we do bulk. That's kind of what we buy now. But let's go over there. All right, so typically we are going to walk in here. This could look like a typical thrift store, all right? If you could see here, this is usually how the books are set up or aligned. I would say if I came to this one, that I would think someone was here to scan the books, just how they're laying like this. Obviously, they were much tighter at one point, so basically people were pulling them out and buying books. You'll see why that is in a second when I scan the books. All right. So these are the books. Usually they have different sections. So that could be like a kid's book, and then they kind of have mixed adult stuff here. All right. You want to know the prices of the books, so you could type that into ScoutIQ. Most books range from $1 to $3. All right, so we're going to be using ScoutIQ. That is my preferred app of choice. This is kind of what it looks like. The light is kind of messing it up. Right here, you have analytics. That's basically everything, how many books you scan, all that kind of stuff. You have trigger sets, which you can't see. Basically, they give you a default set. I would just use that if you're getting started, and then you could tweak them later on. And then the most important is the scanning button right here, all right? This is what the screen looks like. Again, the light is not cooperating. And then you also have settings. I'll do a little video on the ScoutIQ setup as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pair the scanner. So this is the scanner. What I used to do is I would put a piece of Velcro on the back of my phone, the case, and there's a piece of Velcro on the scanner. So you'd put it together, all right? And then when you're in the store, and this is all nice together, you would just be hitting the button, and you could kind of look at your phone, hit it, hit it, hit it, all right? So that's what I would do. I'm actually not going to do it with this phone, but that's what I would do. If you don't have a scanner, I would highly recommend it, but you could just hit this scan right here, all right? And that's going to bring up this little box over here, and you're going to want to hover that over the barcode, and we'll pick it up, and it's going to tell us whether or not we should buy the book. So that's kind of it. So we got to pair the Bluetooth scanner. So you're going to just turn that on. It should already be connected to your phone. ScoutIQ will show you how to do that on their website. They even have a guide, I'm pretty sure. So you're going to go into your settings, Bluetooth, and then you're going to locate the scanner. This is the Opticon. So I'm just going to hit that. It beeps. That means it's connected and we're ready to go. All right. So then I'm going to open ScoutIQ. All right. You're going to want to make sure you're wearing headphones or your phone is on silent. It's really best to wear headphones and have the ScoutIQ audio on so you could hear. You could set the sounds for good, bad, sell back your book. We'll get all into that later. But you're going to hit the scanning. All right. You're going to put your buy cost in. So you hit buy cost. You could enter that. Let's pretend these books were $1. All right. So we're kind of all set now. So if this is what the shelf looked like, the first thing I would do is I would probably find where I'd go over here, probably start here. And right away, I would just push them down like that. So now I'm going to start scanning. And now you can see why the books might have already looked scanned. So it's really important. This is a store. Other people are going to be shopping there. You want to be neat. You don't want to be throwing books all over the place, making a mess. If someone comes up to you, let them look at the books or do whatever. All right. So pretend this is there, or if it's loose, you can just have your phone kind of on the shelf. It really depends on the setup of the store. But ideally, I would probably connect it like this. I know ScoutIQ also does it with the Apple Watch, so you could kind of look for that. So basically what I would do here, I would grab the book. We see a barcode, all right? I would just basically scan that. All right. Oops. Let's see. Why did that not? Oh, maybe the audio's not on. Let's try that. This one, let's see. All right, so you hear that? So that means the book does not meet the trigger criteria set, okay? So I would just basically keep going like this. Kind of make it nice and neat as we go here. Just keep going along. All right. So that's a winner. So if this was a winner right here, what I would do is I would just put that in the IKEA bag like that. And then this one doesn't have a ISBN or barcode rather. So ScoutIQ has this awesome feature. If you hit the scan, then you hit ISBN, you could literally hover this over the barcode. Let's see if this works. It doesn't always work. Yep, it picks it up. So this book is selling for $22 on Amazon. So a lot of sellers are lazy and they will not do that. They will not do the hover. This is one of the best ways to do it. If there is no hover or you're having trouble picking it up, they also have the numbers. So you could just type in the ISBN down here, or you could even speak the numbers and it will pick it up. So I would just keep going down, going along like this. All right, got another one. Sometimes I'll thumb through it real quick just to make sure there's not like a lot of highlighting or underlining. But you really just want to move as quick as possible. Database mode will allow you to move faster because it's all the data. This one doesn't have the ISBN. See, grabbed it like that. This book, it looks like, is 115. It's $88 profit. That's a 2 million rank though, with a 3 e-score. We could go over e-score and that stuff later. But yeah, I would just keep doing this. We got another one. Book looks, oh, this one has highlighting and underlining. Depending on the profit and what else is going on, I may or may not get it. This looks like a textbook. So I'd probably pick that up because it is understandable for textbooks to have writing in them. All right, so you just keep doing that all the way down the line. This is another good book, a good thing to know. So this one has a little R over here. Let's see if I could get that closed. That means you're most likely restricted from selling this book. So basically, ScoutIQ is saying, whoa, like don't, hold on. You're most likely restricted in this. The books you're most likely restricted in are textbooks. And sometimes there are some weird branded books. But you don't really have to worry about that for the most part. So just be on the lookout for that. And then that's pretty much it. I would just keep going, working my way this way. And then if that was done, then I would kind of move down here and just keep going and going and going until all the books were scanned. I highly suggest scanning all the books, especially if you're new at this. You just never know. Eventually you'll get an eye for some stuff. I probably wouldn't like scan the kids' books. It really just depends on how much time you have, but anything that, you know, books that they have there, I would definitely scan them. You never know. And that's kind of part of the fun of this journey. So I'm going to we're going to stop here. I'm going to give you some tips about how to best check out, kind of things that will save you a ton of time when you're at the thrift store. So yeah, I'm going to go sit down and we'll talk about that. All right, now that you have all your books, you have them checked out, you have them in your IKEA bag or your shopping cart or whatever you're doing. The next part is you're gonna have to get online and pay for the books. The tough part about this is sometimes the lines at thrift stores are very long. Usually there aren't a lot of people working, so you're probably most likely going to be waiting in line. So a couple of things you could do to like speed up this process. Number one, organize the books. So if you're buying like 30 or 40 books, you know, organize them by the price. All right, so if softback books are $1 and hardbacks are $2, have all the softbacks in one like pile, all the hardbacks in one pile. This way you could even, and as you get to know the thrift store and they get to know you and they trust you, you could just be like, hey, I have 12 hardbacks and 3 hardcovers, or 10 hardbacks and 3 paperbacks, or whatever it is. This way, you know, it makes checking out so much quicker if you could just tell them. Another thing you want to do is if you're buying items or books that are on sale. So let's say if these were the different colors, kind of, if pink was on sale, put those books aside as well. You don't want to have the person checking you out going through every single one, making the pile themselves. It's just much easier for you to do it. It literally takes like 20 seconds to do, or maybe not 20, it depends on how many books you have, but it's really quick. All right. So getting them in order, colors, all that kind of stuff. Just make it as easy as possible to check out. I have seen people, or there's sometimes there are thrift stores when there's like all the books are priced differently. And there was one big thrift store I used to go to, and he always used to give me a deal because I'd buy probably close to like 100, 150 books because it was so much. And there was someone who was buying 50, 60 and didn't put them in order. And he used to charge him the full price of everything every single time because it's kind of a crappy move not to do that, especially if you have a lot, because then you're holding up the line. It's just a mess. So when you're online now, waiting, another thing you could do is if you're doing a thrifting trip and you're using GPS, a lot of the times I was in other cities and didn't know how to get to the thrift stores or whatnot, you could honestly pull up the Google Maps, load up the next stop. This way, once you get your books in the car and get going, you already have the thing loaded up. I know it sounds stupid that it might not save that much time, but trust me, it does. You just throw them in the car and you're going. You're going to want to save the receipt that you get. Or you could snap a quick picture of it. This way you're good. I like to so if I'm doing like 5 thrift stores or a trip and I have IKEA bags, usually what I will do is I will take the receipt and put it in the bag of books where the books came from. This way, when I do the calculation, how much each book cost, I don't have to remember which bag goes to which thrift store and all that kind of stuff. I am just good to go. And yeah, it's also good for tax purposes as well. And then lastly, if they ask if you're a reseller or reselling on Amazon, or anyone asks, always say, yeah, be honest with them. They most likely will not care. They are in the business of moving inventory. They really don't care that you're buying them and selling them for a higher price, because they don't care. It also could lead to other opportunities down the line. So if you're like, yeah, I do, they're like, oh, wow, we get like tons of books all the time. Would you be interested in, scanning in the back or something like that? It's super rare that will happen, but you just never know. Sometimes they have a lot of books, sometimes they don't. But it's always good for them to know in case maybe they do get a lot. Have business cards that you could hand them. Be like, hey, if you ever have a lot of books you want to get rid of, like give me a call, that kind of stuff. And if individual customers ask, they usually don't. Like if someone would just come up to me in a thrift store, especially if you have headphones in, people usually don't bother you. But I've actually had one of my biggest scores. It was a priest who had a huge library of religious books. And he was in a thrift store and he asked me if I bought books, and I said yes. I gave him a card, and probably I think it was 6 months or a year later he called me. It's like, hey, I'm cleaning up my library, I need some cash, would you want to come to my library and buy the books? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I think I probably made thousands of dollars off of that. So you just never know. It never hurts to give someone your card, let them know what you're up to, let them know what you're doing. So that we'll stop here the video. That's basically how to crush a thrift store and make tons of money on Amazon. You're just going to want to make sure you follow kind of these directions. Have your stuff ready, have everything charged, ready to go, have cash, have credit cards, just be ready. And because you want to move as quickly as possible, especially there could be other people in the store with you. So if someone else is scanning, like it comes really about a game of speed and quickness. Don't let that intimidate you either. Just do your thing, get going, and that is kind of it. And then once you have your books, organize them, make the checkout process extremely easy for the cashier. They really do appreciate that. That could lead to big things. And always be honest with people if they ask. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you sold books? Are you thinking about it? Why aren't you doing it? Let me know in the comments, or if you even have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. You can please like the video, please share it, please subscribe, And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Side Hustle Experiment. I will see you guys in the next video, and we'll be covering a whole bunch of different things, listing pretty much everything you need to know. See you in the next one.